Hi Scorpio, this is your forecast for the year 2017 first quarter. This is a general reading for Scorpio Sun, Scorpio Rising, or Scorpio Moon. If you have a different rising or moon sign, you might find watching those videos helpful or more informative for you. Please remember that these are general readings, and so they may not apply to everyone. If you would like a personal reading that is specific to you, please visit my website at thealchemistastrologer.com, provided on the link at the upper corner. If you have visited my site before, you'll need to clear your browser's cache for the schedule button to function properly. So Scorpio, you are beginning the beginning of the new year with a bang. You're starting something. You have this Ace of Wands, and so maybe you're involved in some new project or something creative, something that's really getting your juices going. But this is a new start for you. So again, this could be anything to a new job, to maybe a new insight about something. But you are ready for it. In fact, you're raring to go. And so, you're off to the races. Now, for some of you, though, this is about some projects that don't get going. There's a false start here, and maybe you don't even believe in it anymore. You've lost your passion for it, and you don't have energy. It's not what you thought it would be. There's some unfulfilled promises. You don't even know how to make it work. You don't have any ideas. You feel a sense of powerlessness. And so there's some kind of change occurring for you, possibly through some type of a crisis. But this can be a period in the beginning where there are some sudden changes that alter your life in some way. But if you've had a setback, you may have gained some kind of clear idea or gotten some type of clarity from the situation that makes you realize you are better off because of what has happened. Or perhaps in spite of what is happening, you're better prepared to handle a situation. Whatever it is, if this is positive, if this is some kind of entrepreneurial thing, something you're initiating, creating, some adventure you're on, whatever it is, good or bad, it's your desires, your ambitions, and your drive that is pushing situations along. Now, by the middle of the first quarter, you have the Strength card. So perhaps you're getting in touch with yourself, your own confidence, your own personal power, your power of conviction. Some of you are having to draw upon your inner strength to deal with something and, use your willpower, have faith in your own abilities. Some of you, maybe this is about protection, loyalty, being steadfast, whether you're getting that from someone or that's being offered. You're getting that or giving that. But this middle of the first quarter is about empowerment and self-reliance, and not through overpowering domination, but through the power of your influence, gentle persuasion, reconciling, using your skills of diplomacy, being tactful, and keeping that passion and anger and animal instinct in check by mastery. For some of you, this is about being bullied, perhaps. You have some doubts. Maybe you are insecure about about who you are, about your strengths. Maybe there's an inability to cope because you have a lack of confidence, or you're making concessions to others. You're unhappy because you're giving in to your fears and participating in some self-defeating behavior. Now, you may be exhibiting abuse of power. Maybe you have an overbearing attitude and you're being arrogant or vain or chauvinistic, or you are claiming a false sense of power, or maybe that's coming at you. this month, in the middle of 2017, first quarter. But whatever it is, by stepping back from the situation and taking a time out, removing yourself from it. If you've been suffering from worry or a lack of confidence, stepping back is going to give you the perspective to regain your confidence. So be aware that the situations that happen in the first quarter are going to affect you physically as well as emotionally and mentally. And some things you may need to just let go. You have to have the strength to let go. Especially if you know that you have acted with integrity, that you've been loyal, that you've acted in with your conviction. You may have to let go of something, and you may need to feel okay with that because you did your best. By taking a time out, you may find some answers to any problems that you have. Now, some of you need to be very careful about acting in fear that you're going to be rejected, or fear that you're going to fail, or that you're going to be alone, or that somebody's going to get back at you, because you won't be making good decisions. You'll be settling for things that you really don't deserve. And this is going to be a period for you to focus on your emotions and mastering those, so that you don't blame other people, or that you only hear or see what it is that you want. So this is about, pushing through, having fortitude, and that's your key. So this may be the strength to start something new that you're looking at during this first quarter, or the fortitude to see a project through. By the end of this first quarter, you're doing some kind of a review. Maybe you're reviewing your finances, or you're reviewing a project, or reviewing making a fresh start. But there's an opportunity that's going to be presented to you. And you can walk through that doorway if you choose. Now, you will need to be realistic. You will need to be practical. You will need to have the facts. And when you gather those, you can make that decision about whether you want to take a new job, or you want to take a job to the next level, or you want to join in a partnership, or you want to operate on your own. You're going to be measuring how strongly you feel about connecting to something or disconnecting from it. And depending on how diplomatic you are and what strategy you use, you may be able to go either way without feeling any repercussions because of it. This is not a period for you to procrastinate because you doubt your abilities, or just because people are not giving you the support you feel you deserve. If you don't act decisively, you're going to be vulnerable to being intimidated or manipulated. So during this period, trust your gut instincts about the opportunities that present. Believe in yourself, in your abilities, in order to grow your finances or advance your career. If you don't trust your instincts, again, you will be at risk of being taken advantage of, and you'll regret. But this is a period to act on facts rather than emotions, not on assumptions. Now, your advice card is, I can set my own standards for financial well-being. So once you're able to achieve and consistently maintain your personal alignment, a great deal of money will flow into your experience if that is your desire. Do not let others set the standards about how much money you should have or about what you should do with it, for you are the only one who could ever accurately define that. Come into alignment with who you really are and allow those things to flow into your experience that life has helped you know that you want. So this sounds, again, very much like owning your own personal power, empowering yourself, acting on your own convictions, listening to your inner voice to decide what is best for you and the opportunities that will be presenting to you. Now, with regard to romance, I know people are especially sensitive about their love relationships, and there's so many variations that if this resonates with you, then take it and run with it. If it doesn't, let it go. It's not meant for you. But in the beginning of the first quarter of this year, you're going to have some kind of anxiety about your relationship. And something about it is gnawing at you and maybe even keeping you up at night. Now, maybe you're ill or maybe your partner is ill. But generally, this is some kind of worry, anxiety, despair about your relationship that's keeping your mind in a loop, where either you're not facing your own shadow or you're projecting some blame onto other people, or there's some external problems that are impacting your relationship. This could be a period where it's important to make some changes. You may be blaming yourself for situations, or there could be issues of guilt or revenge, or you're just under a lot of stress. Maybe you're having to endure being overpowered by someone else. Maybe there's cruelty and pain and a sense of hopelessness about the relationship. It could be that you have envisioned a particular ideal for the relationship or how it should be running, and it's not following what you have in your head. So maybe you're failing to, take that action that you need to with regard to your relationship because of some indecision and self-doubt. So it could be that maybe you're being stripped of your power from others, which goes back to that strength card in the finance section. This Nine of Swords is not a positive card for a relationship. And so there could be a lot of negative thoughts, a lot of doubts, some mistrust, and it's going to make it difficult for you to solidify and move forward to build something positive. There could be a lack of physical intimacy where neither of you are understanding one another. And maybe you're just giving in because of, there's a fear or a sense of obligation. Maybe you think you're going to lose the other person. Maybe you think you're going to be abused by the other person. So you may need to think about stepping out of some toxic situation in your relationship where there's been a history of disappointment, misunderstandings, and issues that are destroying the relationship. Now, the Two of Swords, by the middle of this first quarter, you're still grappling with making a decision, and you don't know, maybe you don't have enough information, or there's still that doubt, anxiety, fear of moving forward. Maybe there's a doubt about the relationship. Maybe you're struggling with trying to put your heart in alignment with what you know in your head. But there's an imbalance in this relationship, either in between you and another person or between, again, your mind and your heart. And you're doing some serious thinking and probably some soul searching about this relationship. Now, maybe one or both of you are blocking your emotions or avoiding something. It could be that you are locked in some type of a stalemate with your partner, or there's a difficult decision to be made about the relationship. Some of you could be withholding intimacy, or it's being withheld from you. Now, if you're single, maybe there's an uncertainty because you're just putting your toe in the water. You're dating, you're trying out things, dating people that are maybe different from your past experience. Maybe, somebody that you're not sure about. But there's a need to make some kind of decision in the middle of this first quarter about the relationship. Now, by the end, you have this Star card, which can be a very positive card. It's about faith, optimism, looking toward the future. And maybe you're anxious about your future with this person, good or bad. This is about hope and optimism. Now, it could be that your relationship is merely platonic, Or maybe you have walked through the fire with your partner and now things have calmed down by the end of this quarter. But if you are single, maybe you've been making a decision, maybe you were testing those waters and now you found the person that's for you. But for others of you, this is about being overly optimistic, because this star card can also speak to deceiving ourselves by having too much faith in something where it's not warranted, by grappling with, should you stick something out because it holds potential even though it's difficult, or is this indeed a dead-end situation that's not going anywhere? So you may be too hopeful, you may be trusting naively, and you will need to be careful about being taken advantage of with regard to your relationships. Now, your underlying card for this section is love yourself first. Your self-respect makes you more romantically attractive. So again, we have this theme of self-empowerment, owning our own power and acting in our own conviction. So you may need to be, if you're single and you're interested in becoming involved in a romantic relationship, you may need to get in touch with you first. Fall in love with you, giving you a greater capacity to be loved by other people. You have to trust yourself by taking good care of you. And that may mean becoming more assertive in your relationship by putting healthy boundaries within the relationship. And maybe you need to spend more time alone rather than with another person to do some introspection, to understand how you love, how you've placed yourself in particular patterns of loving, and take responsibility for yourself for attracting what you want, for realizing why you've attracted past relationships, and then heal yourself, bless yourself and the lessons that you learned from those relationships to become stronger, more independent. Now, not necessarily solo if you want to be in a relationship, but just developing your own inner strength. So again, there's an emphasis on loving yourself first. And if you're single, this is going to help you prepare for your next relationship or heal the relationship that you're already in. You need a connection where there is mutual respect. However, your overarching theme is Eight of Cups. So this is about moving on from something, whether that's professional or personal. You've had some really deep disappointments in the past, and you're ready for something new. And you're headed off in a new direction. And you may not know where that's going, and there may be fears surrounding that. But as long as you are looking to, again, empower yourself, you will be fine. Now, the card next to it is not for you. And so there's some message that you have been sent that perhaps you've been ignoring, but on a gut level, you know that something is being denied to you or that something is wrong for you. And even if you deeply want it, whatever that is, a job, more money, a relationship, sometimes the universe is holding something back in order to help you. So this could be a period where you have a realization that whatever it is, you may not be getting what you want right now. The exact thing may not be in play for you right now. So this is a time to accept that everything is not available to you, even though you may want it. So, rejection is the universe's way of protecting you because something much better is in the works for you. Now, you may be involved in a relationship that you know from, again, in an instinctual level that this is a relationship that's set up to fail. You've been getting these red flags, but you're not acknowledging them. So if you're in a relationship and you're having to do an excessive amount of work to make it work, that's a red flag. You don't have to make it be for it to be a real relationship. So, you may need to walk away from a relationship for both of you, because this may not be the best fit for you. Now, as far as wealth, maybe you need to do some strategy and invest your time and energy into something differently. Maybe something that you have, you really pin your hopes on as far as success or financially, maybe it's going off track. Don't consider that a wasted effort. Consider that to be a lesson that's going to help you eventually succeed at the game, although maybe not right now. This is about knowing when to, close shop, to fold your cards. This is not a period for you to chase after things that are running away from you, or obsessing over things that you can't get, or banging your head against the wall. Don't chase a relationship where the other person doesn't want you. Refusing to see the red flags is keeping you from acquiring what it is that will give you a sense of fulfillment, that will make you happy. Now, you have this underlying energy of the Five of Pentacles. So there's a poverty mentality connected to this card, a lack of a scarcity consciousness, a lack of faith, whether in your material situation or your spirituality, or your lack of faith in self. So again, this is going to be a period where a couple of things are not going to go exactly as you had planned or as smoothly as you had hoped. And it could be that your emotions, your relationships, your material world is all tied together and very complicated. And you may be allowing your emotions to override everything, to overwhelm you, and now it's affecting your health. But this could also be, if you're paying attention, a time where you could get some good lessons, and you may not realize you're as behind as you thought. Whatever it is, this is a time to love yourself first, pamper yourself, take care of yourself. You may be under stress, dealing with a lot of demands. And you may be, your personal life and your professional life could be in opposition to one another, and you may be blaming one for the other. So, this is about, again, taking care of yourself, getting in touch with what is possible for you, letting go of those things that don't serve you. All right, Scorpio, I hope you enjoyed this reading, and I would greatly appreciate your likes, your subscriptions, your kind comments. For those of you who've already offered your support, please know that I am grateful and committed to you. Have a wonderful new year, and make it count.